Good morning YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to talk about being emotional at work, and this is a really important topic to me because I myself am quite an emotional person, and I often think about, does being emotional at work affect my career? Does it show a side of who I am that maybe I shouldn't be showing at work? And how should I actually control my emotions in the workplace? Because it's very different to sitting in a group of friends or being with your family and being emotional. So there are a few things I'd like to cover today, and the first thing I want to say is suppressing your emotions, not showing your emotions, is absolutely not the way to handle it. It's been proven out there with a lot of research that suppressing your emotions will actually be detrimental to your health and well-being. So that's absolutely not the solution to being emotional at work. You shouldn't be hiding it or pushing it down. Emotions are a really good tell to tell you what you're actually passionate about or concerned about, or what really matters to you, and often your emotions will reflect in your actions. But an important thing there is it's not equal. What your emotions and what you're feeling does not equal what you will do. You are still completely in control in how you act on your emotions. Crying is a big one for me. I often will feel like I'm a bit of a crier, basically. And crying at work has got a bit of a thing around it. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to cry at work. I don't want to show my really emotional side. I don't want to look weak. I don't want to look like I'm, taking it too personally or anything like that. If maybe I get some constructive feedback that they feel sad about. So crying is a really interesting one in terms of crying at work. Now, obviously what I'm saying is don't be bawling your eyes out like every second day or every week, because that is bad. But crying every now and again, I don't think is a bad thing. If anything, it shows how much you care about the situation that you're in. The best way to handle when you're crying at work that I have found is, first of all, just to acknowledge it. Don't apologize for crying, but just acknowledge that you're struggling a little bit with the situation. And then usually I would remove myself. So just excuse yourself for a bathroom break or to get a glass of water, and just to calm yourself down and remove yourself from the situation. Take a deep breath and really just bring yourself together before you re-enter that situation again. I also think afterwards it's really important to reflect on what really kind of triggered that emotional response, and it's also important, I think, to talk with some close friends about that situation and kind of get some perspective on it and some outsider's perspective on it. Don't ever feel guilty about crying at work, but definitely it's important to reflect on it, and talk about it with other people so you can handle that situation better in the future. So some hot tips for how to manage your emotions. I have found these are probably the best ones that I do. The first one, like I said, just to remove yourself from the situation if it's getting too heated. So if it's an angry situation or you're starting to feel a bit panicked or overwhelmed, removing yourself is always a nice way to do it. Just go to the bathroom, get some water. That's always an easy way to calm yourself down and come back with a clearer mind. I always think it's important as well is if you start feeling sad or angry or anything like that, to try and twist your mind to think of something positive. I find this the hardest thing to do, but occasionally, for example, if I'm getting some constructive feedback, I originally will start to feel a bit upset about it, or anxious about it, or question how good I am at my job. But a good way to think of it is, no, this person is trying to help. This person is just giving me some feedback to make me better. In the moment, it's really hard to do that. That's probably something I more so do after the situation's finished or over with. But finding the positive in situations like that, I think, really helps as well. Another thing is to write it down. So when you're feeling upset or angry, or maybe you've had a bit of an outburst at work, write down what happened, and then you'll kind of put in perspective how your emotional reaction was triggered and how you handled it in that situation, and what you feel like you could have changed and what you could have done better. Writing it down is a really good way to do that, kind of like a story almost. And then read it back to yourself and think, okay, how would I handle that situation again? And again, like I said before, speaking with others about it, getting some perspective is really helpful as well. And this is a really easy one as well, or a hard one depending on the situation, but I always find chucking a smile on your face kind of helps. Like, even though you might not be giving a genuine smile, your brain will be like, oh, I'm smiling. Maybe I should be more positive about this situation. That is a hard one. If you're feeling angry with someone, it's really hard to show a smile and not make it look really sarcastic. But, you know, in less serious conversations, chucking a smile on your face will just signal to your brain that you should probably try to start being a little bit more positive. So I think to conclude, being emotional at work is definitely not a bad thing. We're all human. Being emotional is part of who we are. If you're a brick wall all day, every day at work, that's almost just as bad as if you were bawling your eyes out every day at work. So being overly emotional is definitely not a bad thing. It's just all about figuring out how to manage it the best way and how to kind of reflect and move forward from it and you know, remain this professional person whilst also being, you know, sympathetic and relatable. It's a really hard balance, but I definitely don't think being emotional is a bad thing. It's just, you know, taking some tips and figuring out what's going to work best for you. So thank you for watching my YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed it. For all my emotional peeps out there, I hope you learned something in this video. And just to let you know that being emotional, you can still be successful and have a good career. So check a like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again soon.